It's the inaugural episode of Education Credit Union's podcast, The Core. Education Credit Union. Credit unions are their own sort of little entity within their communities that they serve, and not a lot of people, even credit union members, know what a credit union is. So I've brought for our very first guest the president of our Canyon market and the president of our H&H market, Claudia Burkett and Tina Hunter. Welcome, and thank you so much for being our first guest on the
Thanks
podcast.
for asking us.
Oh, thank you.
So yeah, the credit union difference. First, what is a credit union? Somebody asks you, I want each of your answers. What is a credit union?
Well, for me, a credit union is doing business with your friends, with the people that you in your community that you go to church with, that you see out, that your kids go to school together, so that you have that trust or camaraderie, and it follows you with the credit union because the philosophy of the credit union and what it was based on is people helping people. So to me, that's what a credit union is.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, it's definitely, not for profit. And so we, have a board of directors that are volunteers. And so every member has a vote. But we also, invest in our community. We really care about our community. And, we have a lot of initiatives that we do as far as, charitable initiatives
Absolutely.
that we do with our community. Yep. And I just think we do a lot of financial education and try to build upon that and help our kids, in our community learn more
Absolutely.
about their finances. And that would actually then, in turn, offer more stability for that community. So
Yes.
we just do a lot for the local community.
To me, when I think about the uniqueness of the credit union, I keep going back to when I first learned about credit
Mm-hmm.
unions, and it was the people helping people. I mean, I know that sounds cheesy to some people, and we talk about it a lot, but that's what credit unions do.
Yes.
It's that common bond. You build that rapport with people, and you're gonna help them. And like Tina just said, we encourage our team to give back to the community, and we encourage them to be involved and get involved and do things. And then we try to support them
Yes.
in what they want to. They're not voluntold, I guess is a good way to say that.
They don't have to do that. It is, and it's just encouraged and thoroughly supported. So, and just the connections that we make as individuals in the community, that's how we get to strengthen our community. And we're supported by the place that we work. So I personally love that. What do you say, with events earlier this year, what do you say to people who are, especially that younger generation we might encounter, who don't really trust banks? They would use Cash App, they'll use Venmo. I got that. I'm taken care of. What do you say when you encounter that?
Well, I would just tell them, I understand, that they're, the reasons that they probably do have some concerns, but that, credit unions are, like we've already said, that we are, member owned and that we're a not-for-profit, and that, if they were concerned about, their money being safe, I would let them know about the insurance,
Mm-hmm.
we are insured up to $250,000, and then also with ECU that we have the extra insurance.
Yeah. So they can really make that informed decision. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah. Plus, there's going to come a time, one other thing I tell them, there's going to come a time and place where you need to be able to go into a place or be able to make a phone call where you're going to where you need to talk to a human being.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're going to have a problem. You're going to have fraud, or you're going to need to know something. So you need to be able to build that camaraderie with somebody that you trust, and to be able to pick up the phone or walk into that branch and say,
yes.
I need help.
Absolutely. So both of you, Claudia, you've just celebrated 35 years in Education Credit Union. Tina, forgive me, you're celebrating...
40 years.
40 years.
Yes.
So decades within this industry and in this region. What is your greatest accomplishment, your greatest accomplishment with the organization? What are you proudest of?
For me, it's pocket change grants. I mean, it started, I'm just going to be honest, it started because we wanted to wear jeans. And, and our board pushed back. And so we started, thinking and scheming, okay, how can we make this work? And then in 2009, if y'all remember, 2008 was a really hard on financial institutions and then the economy itself. And then in 2009, the state of Texas cut back a lot on what they were being able to give to the school districts. And so we saw that need. So we're like, okay, we're willing to pay for the privilege to wear jeans. And our board, not only were they excited about that, they just doubled down on it. And they're like, okay, whatever you raise, we'll double it, we'll triple it. And that's what started Pocket Change grants. And I'm just really proud. This year was just a banner year. We were able to give out almost $170,000 to the Texas Panhandle. Now that we have the branches in Stinnett and Border, it's to the Texas Panhandle and being able to give back to our school districts. So that one, by far, is hands down just a proud moment to be able to talk about that one.
As for me, I really couldn't think of just one thing. I mean, I think it's really just the joy for me of being a part of such a wonderful movement over 40 years and just being able to, look back and remember just being able to help as many members that we've helped over the years just attain their financial goals. And also, though, just helping those members when, those times of distress happened and we were able to get them back on their feet and just be there for them when they needed us to.
Absolutely, because there's so many, I recognize being in the schools and at WT and at AC, there is this up and coming generation of people who want to feel fulfilled, who want to do good work and have a place that it feels honorable to work at. And I feel very privileged that, yes, I get to do that at a credit union. But what are the biggest challenges that credit unions face? Sometimes, you'll hear statistics around there used to be this many credit unions nationwide, and now that number is shrinking. So what are challenges that we face in our communities as a movement?
Well, first, I would like to say that the number of credit unions has drastically decreased, but that's really not the story. The actual members has 3 times fold increased. Mm-hmm. So we don't have as many brick and mortar actually credit unions. We have so many more members than we used to have. I just think for me, there's 2 things that come to mind about what are we going to challenge in the next year is attracting and retaining employees. I mean, I think we do a pretty good job now attracting and retaining, but there's always room and opportunities to do more. So I think that one, and then technology, just not just what's the shiny new object that's out there of technology, but there's security and the cost of it, and trying to make sure that we're things come to the market and the member doesn't even know that they want it or need it, but we got to be ahead of that and be making sure that we are spending our resources, the time and treasure our employees and our money to make sure that we are going to stay at the top of market for technology. And it costs a lot, and you got to have the right employees to be able to do that. Right, and
there's trial and error involved too. When that new stuff hits the market, is it really useful or is it just shiny and new? And we have to not only anticipate how our members might need it, but then what might happen when it goes wrong, and is there something better out there? So that's a huge juggling act.
Yes.
Also, I think one of the challenges is, with the demographics of the generations, and trying to, be able to focus on each Generation Z and what all they want.
Yeah, their needs and how they expect to run their lives versus,
Right.
What do you hope is next for EC? We've had some significant changes. Again, we had a merger with H&H. We now serve the top 26 counties of Texas. I love it because when I can show a map of Texas, it's, if you cut off this top, that little square, that's us. That's anybody who lives, works, or worships here. What do you hope is next? What is next?
Well, I hope that we can continue to focus on serving the underserved and being able to give access to all individuals that financial services and reaching those that need it, and especially in our areas in the H&H market. That's really where I would, hopefully that we will continue to, I know we're already doing a lot of that, but I hope we can just continue to grow that and build on that. So.
Yes.
Well, to me, the thing that popped in my mind first was very Pacific, which falls right into that, to be able, we've started reaching out to the Hispanic market and other markets. I think it's time to build a branch in Southwest Amarillo. I mean, we've been talking about it for years, and I would just love for us to be in the financial position to, build that branch in Southwest Amarillo, and then hopefully build a new branch in Stinnett.
And again, too, in our region, people like that ability to walk into a place and do that business with that
Yes.
person face to face if they feel they need to. And so having, again, that presence, we can put up an ITM or something, but nobody's going to trust that. That's
Exactly.
not, they need to walk in and see a person that can help them with whatever it is that they need. Now, speaking of, you mentioned that credit unions are collaborative, that we work together, and that's true. The credit union movement, it's a wonderful thing. But are all credit unions equal?
No, they aren't. I mean, they vary in size,
Yeah.
And then also in their fields of membership. Some credit unions you can join whether depends on where you live or work, and other credit unions are specific to certain groups or organizations, and that's their field of membership. And then also it just depends on their the services that they offer. Not all credit unions offer all the products.
Yes.
And that also depends on their size
Yeah.
and what resources they have. So and then they all don't offer the same rates,
Correct.
things like that. So they definitely are not all equal.
That's the way I approach it. Is you have to split it into two things. It's the philosophy, because all credit unions, we are founded and started, and you start a new credit union because there's a need. Just like when our credit union, Education Credit Union, and H&H, we're education-based teachers. So ours was founded by teachers, for teachers, to help teachers. So all credit unions were like that, and the philosophy is the same. We're here to help each other, help your person that you're working with or going to church with or whatever. But then the actual mechanics of that credit union is different in the products and services that they offer and how. So the difference is the philosophy is the same, but the products and services is different. And we alluded to this earlier, but I want to talk about even more is the chapter of Amarillo area chapter of credit unions that we have in this area. And it's pretty much like the Texas Panhandle. We meet like quarterly. We have meetings together. I know you as a CEO, me as an EVP, you could pick up the phone and call any one of these credit unions and ask them if you had a problem, and they will be right there to help you, and vice versa. I mean, we've shared policies, we've shared resources. I mean, I think that's the big difference. I mean, credit unions were based on the philosophy of helping each other, and credit unions do help each other.
So now, what are ways that we serve our members that you wish more people knew about? Not a lot of people know that these businesses, these cooperatives cooperate together, but we all have these little wonderful secret things that we'd like to do for our members. So what do you wish people knew more? I wish people knew ECU did that. Like when you hear people in conversation, well, I wish somebody blah, blah, blah. One of the things that I see on social media is like, I wish they were in school teaching these kids how to do taxes and what a budget is. And I'm like, that's my job. So this is your chance. Brag. What do you wish they knew we did?
To me, the best kept secret I think we have, not for the lack of the marketing and getting the word out, but is our certified financial counselors. I mean, that is it. I love seeing one of them in action, because you can come into the credit union. It's free. We'll do it for members or non-members, which I think is huge. We go out to community organizations that need the extra help, or we'll go to schools, and you can make an appointment. And you can come in, and we'll do it after hours if you want to. We can do something as simple as you had a question, or something as elaborate as helping you build a budget. Or the one I think that the membership likes the most, or I've been involved with the most, is we help them analyze their credit. We pull their credit report, we go over it with them, and we give them pointers, and we tell them, okay, this is how your score roughly how it's calculated. Here's one or two things you can do in the next 3 months that's going to help your score go up. Yes. And that is just the best kept secret that we have, and not for lack of trying to get the word out. But our certified financial counselors is just, it can be a huge game changer for the members and non-members that come in and use it.
I thoroughly agree.
And I agree with that as well. And I feel like, too, along that same line, just the fact that, we desire to really, meet our members' needs and meet, no matter what stage of life that they're in, that we want to build that relationship with them and, really care.
You've heard me talk financial education, but that's the basic principle is no matter anybody out there, anybody listening, all of us in this building, everybody works for a paycheck. No matter how we live our lives, we all need to be good stewards of our money and the things that we earn. And a credit union is an organization that helps people do that in one form or another. But thank you both so much for being with us today. It really was a fantastic time. And I'm very excited for you to have such strong guests on our first episode of the podcast. It's really a good time. Sets the tone, folks. Let's experience more of this. And we'll see you next time, guys.
Thanks, Colten.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.